Good morning. Welcome to Empower Strike Back. I'm Holly Reese, your host, sponsored by WarriorDefenders.com, Women's Self-Defense on Wqee, the Key 99.1 FM this morning. It's a beautiful morning today, and we are looking forward to talking about vehicle safety and travel and what you're going to do to keep yourself safe with all these things that happen on the roads while we are traveling around for summer or even for the upcoming holidays that will be there. These tips and tricks will be able to keep you safe today. We are going to start with 3 different things that I think are so important for you guys to know when you're out in the road. What do you do if your vehicle breaks down, which, new cars don't always last like the old cars used to, so there's always going to be some type of computer problems. And car accidents, what happens when you get into a car accident? How are you supposed to handle everything? How are you supposed to make sure that you keep yourself safe along with everything else that's going on in your mind during the stressful actions of a car accident? And carjacking or road rage. Okay, I'm going to just speak it out there that there is a lot of very irritated people on the highways today, and everybody else is having a bad day. They take it out on somebody else, and that all escalates into something that turns into a big mess. The other day, I traveled to the Walmart health centers and teach the self-defense for communities, and there was an accident on 285, and that made it so that we had a backup that took twice as long as it would have taken. But I realized whoever was in that accident was having a worse day than we were, and it was just going to take us longer to get home. But not everybody thinks that way, and we have to be aware of road rage. So let's cover first vehicle breakdown. So you always need to call for help immediately if your vehicle is broken down. You need to alert others by putting hazards out. That's important. But how do you put hazards out when you don't need to get out of your vehicle? You need to be able to stay in your vehicle. So we do have on my website something called the road trip, and we have the blinkers that are magnetically attached to your vehicle. So even in the dark, they can see you and you don't have to get out. You have that stationed, and I have a video on my YouTube channel at Warrior Defenders where you have that item stationed where you can reach it without having to get out of your car, and just put it on the top of your car, the side of your car, so you're visible. Be cautious for people who want to help you. There's always going to be some good people out there, but we need to be cautious and make sure that those people do not pose a threat. If your vehicle breaks down, it's best to stay inside with the doors locked and keep your protection tools close by you. Make sure that you layer your protection in your vehicle. Make sure that you have the items in there. Don't leave your pepper sprays in the cars, please, ladies. In this summer heat, they can implode. Please don't leave them in the car. And in the cold weather, they are not good as a propellant. The propellant goes bad, and it's not as effective. And also, you don't want to spray a pepper spray while you're in your car, because that's an enclosed environment and it could backfire on you. So keep a stun device, protection tool, striking tool in your vehicle. Those are available at WarriorDefenders.com. Keep your doors locked all the time, and let the strangers know that you have help on the way. You're fine. They don't have to hang around with you. Auto emergency kits are always good to have. We have those on WarriorDefenders.com. The junk in the trunk in your car. I have multiple videos on my YouTube channel at Warrior Defenders, and we can show you how those work and how each item in there is taken apart. I always add a self-defense tool to that as well. If you're in an accident, oh, goodness gracious, this is the worst, one of the worst things that can happen to you on the road, because it's all of a sudden, nobody has time for that, ever. Nobody really should be rushing around and thinking, oh, I need to get there faster in like 2 minutes, and you're not going to get there faster when you get into an accident. So you need to just take your time and get where you need to go. But accidents do happen. So you need to remain calm. It's important to remain calm. I know we've got all these things going on in your head, but it could decrease the chances of further injuring yourself or someone else in your vehicle. To try to breathe through it, remain calm, get 911 on the phone immediately, handle all the rest of that stuff after people are taken care of. That is definitely important. For minor injuries and minor damages and accidents, it's a little different. If somebody backed into you in the parking lot, we were at one of the Walmarts getting ready to set up, and somebody backed into another vehicle's car, and they just didn't use their backup mirrors or didn't allocate for the tailgate for their truck being down, and they didn't do much damage, but they handled it quietly, and then they left because there wasn't anything you can do after an accident. So if you're going to escalate the situation, be all stressed out, it doesn't help the situation because it's already happened. So make sure that you just handle it the way it needs to be done, get their information, they get your information, and move forward, because that way your day goes a little easier. Make sure that you apply first aid if you can. Keep a first aid kit in your safety container that is in your vehicle, and the junk in the trunk that I have on my website has a minor first aid kit. So those are so important. And also, if you've had the little ones in the car, make sure that they stay as calm as they can, because that's a scary situation for them. And attend to the injuries as fast as you can. With the road trip tool on warriordefenders.com, that should always be secured in your vehicle. It is a great tool for seatbelt cutting and window breaking, and there is a certain way you need to secure it in your vehicle, because when an accident happens, those things fly out, move around, and if it's under your seat, if your seatbelt is locked, you will not be able to get out. And seatbelts tend to lock up when the airbags are released. So check out that YouTube video at warriordefenders.com about that as well. One of the scariest things that we address in my classes is carjacking situations. They don't happen a lot here in small towns, but they can happen anywhere. And a lot of the times the victims are usually in a shopping center or at a gas station, and you want to do your best to protect you and your family. Those things, they either want you or they want your car. That is your choice on what you give up, but don't give up yourself and your family. I say that all the time in my classes. It's so important to make sure that you are safe. Items can be replaced. You cannot. So when it comes to a carjacking, the statistics are pretty bad. 65% of carjacking attempts occur within 5 miles, so in your own hometown where you're driving around. 65%. 92 of completed carjackings involved a weapon. Most common was a gun, and the second type is a knife. Now, we're close to Atlanta, so we see a lot of those circumstances on TV, on the news. There has been times where you can talk the attacker down. There was a senior who had somebody get in their car. I think it was at Home Depot or Lowe's, and he came in her car with a knife, and she was able to say to him, you don't really want to do this. What do you need? What can I help you with? And all that. And by the end, he was upset and crying, and he left. So that it's sometimes people are desperate situations, and they will do things, and they're not thinking about the consequences. De-escalation is the best way to fix this kind of a problem, but if you're facing a weapon such as a knife or a gun, and if they're going to be threatening, the best thing to do is get away. We do talk about how to get away from a carjacker with a knife or a gun. We teach about disarmament in the classes. We teach about abduction theory as well as getting away from that. There are some videos on my YouTube channel that discuss this, but we definitely delve into it in specific training for these. There are ways to defend yourself. A good thing to do is to just not have your window down, not open the door, of course. But another good thing is to get away. When you're facing a carjacking, normally 92% of carjacking happens when somebody is alone. So we have to be prepared to deal with that stressful situation, to think clearly when we're faced with a gun or a knife. The common areas for those are going to be in parking lots, gas stations, fast food, drive-thrus where people sit with their windows down, and outside retail stores. We go to those every day, ladies, every day. And you can always prevent them and be aware. Keep your doors locked whether you're inside or outside your vehicle so nobody can sneak in on the other side and meet you in the seat next to you. If you're in traffic, this is so important. You need to keep one car length in front of you between cars. That gives you space to maneuver. This is a long time standing driving aid that I have used. If you cannot see a way to drive your car around the other vehicle, then you are too close and you are putting yourself in danger of not being able to get away. And if somebody was to hit you from behind, you would immediately hit that car in front of you. If you don't have enough space to hit your brakes and slide, you need to make sure that you keep that space. And I saw the funniest TikTok the other day. The girl said, I am not keeping that space in front of you so you can squeeze your little car in between me and the other car. I'm keeping it there for safety. So we need to spread the word and make sure that we know to keep that space between us and the other vehicles so that we can get away. Keep your purse, laptop, and other valuables in the trunk and out of sight, especially when you're going to be doing a lot of shopping. Make sure that you're aware of individuals approaching your car. We have mirrors on our cars all the time. Use them even when you're parked somewhere, looking around. Don't be looking down at your phone while you're parked somewhere. Look up and around. And definitely do not get on your phone while you're driving. That will prevent an accident as well. Make sure that you be aware of people asking for money, handing out flyers. Don't pull down your window. I know we try to be nice. Less sugar, more spice. Don't be nice can save your life, ladies. Don't be nice to everybody. Pay attention to who's behind you and how long they've been following you while you're driving. If you feel like you're being followed, go to a close police station or fire station. Call 911. It's better to be prepared. You are not being paranoid. Make sure that your personal protection is always in arm's reach. That will keep you at ability to be able to use it against somebody who is trying to get in your vehicle. So there is a video on Warrior Defenders YouTube about using a long arm baton stun device. That is extremely useful to get the attackers to go away. Aggressive driving versus road rage. There's two different things, okay? So we have aggressive driving, which consists of, driving behavior that's careless or reckless, endangering others, speeding, tailgating, weaving in and out of traffic like they're going to be in the NASCAR race, and they're going back and forth, and you're like, oh no. So you want to avoid them, and we're going to talk about how to avoid those, because anytime I see any of those crazies on the road, I'm like, okay, you just keep on going, and we usually end up at the same red light. So it didn't really get them anywhere. So that's aggressive driving. But road rage involves purposely and harmful driving behaviors while the driver intends to intimidate, threaten, injure somebody else on the road. So road rage would be somebody getting up behind you or next to you, yelling at you because you cut them off, beeping their horn, ramming up close and then backing away, revving their engine behind you, things like that. Road rage statistics are 60% of traffic fatalities are caused by aggressive driving. So the people that are driving around aggressively like they should be a race car driver are causing 60% of the accidents. So steer clear of those crazies out there. 37% of aggressive driving incidents involve a firearm. So when they have road rage, usually there's a firearm in the vehicle and they're going to use it 37% of the time. 50% of drivers respond to careless acts of other drivers with aggressive behaviors themselves. So that's 50% of the people that we have on the road. We really need to get a handle on how we feel when we're driving. It is a dangerous vehicle to have on the road, and we need to treat it respectfully and treat other drivers respectfully. And not everybody's a perfect driver, but try not to take it personal and let it escalate. Every 16 hours, someone has shot or injured or killed in a road rage incident. every 16 hours. This is literally way out of hand. We need to make sure that we stay safe when you're driving and somebody is following you with road rage in their eyes. Avoid eye contact. Making eye contact with other drivers could further upset them. So if they're looking at you and yelling at you, just ignore them and keep going about your business as best you can. Now that is different when we're walking on the street. You want to make eye contact with people to identify them, but this person is already aggravated and they are behind a wheel and they're intent on being angry, and the more you make eye contact with them, the angrier they're going to get in that circumstance. You want to stay in your car. Never ever pull over and get out of your vehicle to try to calm the situation down. You want to make sure that you're in your car so you can get away from the person. Avoiding escalation of this is the hardest thing to do, but we need to try to do it. De-escalating, if the driver is yelling, making gestures, tailgating, showing other signs of road rage, your best thing to do is not engage back. This will make it worse. Call 911, tell them what's going on. Just like if you were being followed, head to a fire station or a police station, the closest area that you can get to, and make sure that an officer is waiting for you so that they can handle the situation effectively and not put you and your family in danger. And it's always going to be, make sure in case something does happen, have your personal protection available, have your knowledge of self-defense, have your ability to get away. And we need to train our families on what we can do, have those safe codes so you can call them as well. So those are like, this is like the hardest thing to really talk about, and I'm not a driving instructor, but when you go into these situations, we do drill these type of treatments so that you know how to de-escalate a situation, so you know how to handle somebody that is being outlandishly crazy with their vehicle, and so that you know how to handle yourself, because this is so stressful. We train through the stress in the classes. We also have vehicle abduction classes in my weekly drill classes and in online, but mostly in classes we do the anti-abduction, we do the how not to be prevented, what happens if somebody gets in the back of your seat while you're trying to get in, carjack you, sneak into the back. There was an incident the other day I was told about. This lady was trying to pay for her gas, and the pump kept shutting off. The gas pump attendant called her from the mic and said, "I need you to come in." Well, she's already paid for it, so she's all upset, and she comes in, and the gas station attendant says, "I don't need you to get in your car. Somebody got in the back seat." So realizing that somebody might be trying to save you and not immediately just go crazy on them, to realize you just got saved from being carjacked because an attendant was paying attention enough to see that somebody had snuck in the back seat. Which brings us back to always lock your doors when you're putting gas in your vehicle. So some more safety tips are, if you are in traffic, of course, we're going to go over this, keep 1 car length between you and the other vehicle. Please don't sit on somebody else's bumper. That is, if somebody comes up to your car on your driver's side or passenger side and they've got this bad intent and they're reaching for your car door, if you keep that length, you have an opportunity to drive off. You're not stuck in the middle of 2 cars. Always be aware of people approaching. Watch their hands. It's so important to know if somebody's walking by your car, watch their hands. And sometimes when you're sitting at the red light, you'll see the mirror and you'll look around. See what other people are doing in their cars. If somebody opens the door of a car behind you, are they getting out? Are they coming up to you? Are they going to another car? See what they're actually doing. Be aware of your surroundings. Situational awareness. Key 1, to make sure that you're safe. That is what we always have to do. When you're driving in your driveway, what do we say? 5 miles away? Make sure that you're safe, because it's always going to happen near you. Make sure that you're in a lit area. Make sure that your shrubbery is down so that people can't hide behind you and jump out like the boogeyman. Be aware of unknown pedestrians close to your home. If something doesn't feel right, don't turn into your driveway. If somebody's following you, don't turn into your driveway. Drive past. You don't know what their intent is. In your neighborhood, you know who's usually out walking. And if that person doesn't belong there, then you need to trust your instinct. Make sure you are consistently checking your rearview mirrors. Make sure no one's following you. You get a bad feeling? Watch those people. Go to a safer location. Don't go home. Never sit in a parked car without being conscious of your surroundings. Oh my goodness. I see this all the time. People are constantly on their phones, head down, not looking around, windows down, and sitting in a parking lot. Do not do that. If you're going to be in your car, make sure your windows are up, your car doors are locked. If you need to check your messages real quick before you start driving again, that's great. Do it with your head up, not down. Make sure all your valuables are well hidden before you leave your vehicle. Please don't leave any valuables in a car overnight. You never know what can happen in your vehicle. When returning to your vehicle, be aware of your surroundings. Keep your head on a swivel. Look around. Situational awareness. Lock your car immediately when you get out and when you get back in. Make sure that you know what engages in your vehicle to lock it and unlock it. Never leave your car without your personal protection in hand, ready to go. If a stranger walks up to your vehicle, you need to drive off if you can. Your stun device is a great way to fire a warning shot that they should stay away from your car because you'll electrocute them. Stun devices are 95% of the time used to give a warning. So it wards off stray humans and stray dogs. So get to a police station as fast as you can if you feel threatened. These are just some of the many, many things we can do to stay safe in our vehicles, especially when we're going to be hitting the road for summer vacation. We want everybody to have a good time, make sure that they enjoy themselves, and even locally, remember, locally be patient on the highway. And be aware of your surroundings and give yourself space between other vehicles and make sure those crazies, they just keep on going past you and you do not engage with them. And so excited to be with you here for Empower Strike Back, sponsored by WarriorDefenders.com. Check me out for all my safety classes, self-defense tools, private training, group training, and I will travel to you and with Bob and Freddie. So we're looking forward to being back here again next week for Empower Strike Back on WQEE The Key on 99.1 FM. Be safe. Learn today to have a safer tomorrow. Be your own hero.